Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving deep into the Indian government's 2026-2027 expenditure budget. We're going to break down where the money is going and, maybe more importantly, the big ideas that are driving all that spending. So at the very core of this budget is this single, really powerful vision for a developed India, or Viksit Bharat. The whole idea is to strike a balance between super ambitious national growth and making sure that development is inclusive, that everyone gets to be part of the journey. And that's the big question, isn't it? A vision is one thing, but a budget, well, that's where the rubber really meets the road. So let's get into it and see how the numbers themselves start to tell the story of this vision. Okay, first up, let's talk about that vision. This budget isn't just about accounting for a year's expenses. The source documents really frame it as a strategic plan, one that's designed to turn these national aspirations into actual, tangible achievements. The whole foundation of this plan really rests on four key pillars, and you're looking at them right here. Keeping up that high growth, being really strict with fiscal discipline, keeping inflation under control, and just ensuring overall economic stability. The government's approach seems to be creating this predictable, stable environment where that long-term growth can really take root and flourish. All right, so let's shift gears from the philosophy to the financials. Now we get to the fun part, following the money. We're going to look at the big numbers and see where your taxpayer funds are actually being allocated. And wow, look at that number. The total expenditure for 2026-27 is set to jump by a massive 3,82,000 crore rupees compared to the previous year. That is a huge increase in spending. An increase that big just makes you wonder, right? What's actually driving it? So let's break down the two single biggest factors behind the surge in government spending. Now, what's really interesting here is how clearly this table lays out the priorities. The two largest jumps account for most of the new spending. First, over 1.3 lakh crore rupees is going towards paying interest on the national debt. And second, grants to state governments are getting a boost of more than 1.1 lakh crore rupees, which gives them more firepower to fund local development. Now, to really wrap your head around a budget, you have to know this key distinction. Think of it like this. Revenue spending is kind of like paying your monthly bills, your rent, your food, your utilities. It keeps the lights on day to day. Capital spending, on the other hand, is like buying a house. It's a long-term investment that builds assets and provides benefits for years and years to come. And this budget is all about trying to find the right balance between those two. Speaking of future investments, let's zoom in on that idea. We're going to put a spotlight on a few national missions that are getting some serious funding, all targeting these key futuristic and strategic sectors. First up is the National Quantum Mission. With an allocation of 900 crore rupees, India is making a pretty serious bet on the future of computing. This investment is all about speeding up research and development to try and position the nation as a global leader in quantum technology. Next, let's talk clean energy. The National Green Hydrogen Mission is getting 535 crore rupees. This funding is aimed squarely at making India a hub for producing and exporting green hydrogen, which is just a crucial step in meeting the country's climate goals and making sure our energy is secure. And finally, we've got to secure our supply chains. 440 crore rupees are being put into the National Critical Mineral Mission. This is all about making sure India has a steady supply of minerals like lithium and cobalt. The stuff that's absolutely essential for everything from our smartphones and electric cars to our defense technology. Okay, this next part is, for me, one of the most fascinating things about this budget. It represents a pretty fundamental shift in its DNA. It's not just about how much money gets spent, but what that money actually achieves. This is a move from outlays to outcomes. And this quote from the government's own monitoring framework really says it all. The plan is to bring in a whole new system to boost transparency and hold government agencies accountable for the results of their spending. It's a big push for a more purposeful style of governance. So, the crucial point is this pivot you see right here. The old way of thinking was to ask, how much money did we allocate? The new way asks, okay, but what did we achieve with that money? It's a simple idea on paper, but in practice, it's a massive challenge, shifting from just tracking where the money went to truly measuring the real-world impact of every single government scheme. And here's what that looks like in the real world. Take the PM Kisan scheme, which gives income support to farmers. The outlay is 63,500 crore rupees. The direct output is getting 9.5 crore farmers enrolled, but the real goal, the outcome, is to make sure that 75% of those farmers actually use the funds for agricultural needs. Now, of course, accurately measuring that final outcome is the most complex part, and it's the hurdle this new framework is designed to clear. The goal is to connect the spending directly to a verifiable result. So, after all that, what does this all mean when we put the pieces together? Let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture this budget is painting for the nation's future. Ultimately, this budget is really trying to be more than just a financial statement. It wants to be a blueprint that fits all these innovative ideas, like those national missions we saw, into a single, unified strategy for national development. The goal is to make sure every rupee spent is a step toward that vision of a prosperous, developed India. This big shift towards accountability is all about ensuring that the grand vision of a developed India is built not just on ambition, but on a solid foundation of measurable, transparent results. The question that remains, though, is whether this ambitious new focus on outcomes and the immense challenge of measuring them accurately will be the catalyst that truly redefines the nation's path forward.